Wake up.
It's the Daily Grind
Daily Grind.
with SP and Legacy Jones.
What's up, everybody? It's Rob Spruill, aka SP.
What's going on, y'all? And this is Marcus McLeod, aka Legacy Jones, and we are on special number 5. And then it's also a special day because it is Mother's Day. So shout out to all the mothers. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Shout out to all the moms out there. Special shout out to my mom, rest in heaven. Today, we have a special guest. This young lady's been working in the healthcare industry for 16 years now. She's the owner's right-hand lady and general manager. This marks the 20th year they've been in business. Please make some noise for Comfort Keeper's own, Teresa Legrand.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Teresa, what made you choose healthcare for a career?
So when I was 16, my grandpa had congestive heart failure, and so he went into the nursing field, the nursing home, and I would go and visit him, and there would be people that were in the hallways, and the staffing greatly outnumbered, the staffing need greatly outnumbered what they really needed. The staff ratio is probably 12-1 at that point in time, so 12 residents for one caregiver, one client. So there'd be people that were in the hallways, and so I would go in, file their nails, and do manicures, read with them, do puzzles, that kind of stuff. So that's how I started, was by volunteering my time.
Just making them feel not forgotten.
Right.
Because people don't realize going into the when somebody gets left into the nursing home, a lot of people automatically assume that their child has either put them in the nursing home because they didn't want to deal with it, or that they just didn't have the means to help out.
Yeah.
And some people can definitely get lost because some cats have sons or mother or brothers that are in a totally different state, and we're just gonna leave you here, and it starts to feel lonely, and that definitely takes a toll on their health that's already diminishing. So I feel like that's super dope. From your years of experience, what qualities do you feel make a good caregiver?
A good caregiver has to have compassion, and they have to be patient. They have to be able to adapt to other people's realities, whether it be dementia or a medical condition. You have to be able to make them comfortable with you,
Right.
And you be an extension of them. That's what I always tell my clients when they try to say, well, I don't want you to have to do that, or I don't want you to have to work this day. Well, I'm an extension of you. You can't do it for yourself. So at this point, I'm going to do it for you. One thing that we focus on is interactive caregiving, which means that a lot of other agencies, they just do it for them, or they're a babysitter, is the picture that is painted of caregivers. And so we support what they can do to their abilities. Instead of us just doing it for them, we assist them, whether it be they can't stir the pot because they shake too much, then we stir the pot. When they're making soup or painting their nails because they can't do it anymore, but they still want to have that dignity and confidence that they have.
So being able to assist them through those processes, even if it's the little things, I definitely get that. So I did a little bit of homework in regards to the healthcare industry. On average, Washington State caregivers make just over $24K a year. How hard is it for you to keep staff on board with such a stressful job, and it being very important with such little pay?
So in order for a person to truly be in this field, it has to come from your heart. You have to want to do it. To be honest, I've taken quite a pay cut. I've been doing this for a long time, so
Right.
I've had to take sacrifices and pay cuts, but I'm making a difference in people's lives. And each day, if I can make a difference in one person's life, whether it be just making them smile or making them feel better about themselves or their choices with their loved ones, then that's my pay. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to be able to pay your bills. And so I think what I have learned working with my caregivers is being adaptable to them, treating them with the same respect that I expect them to treat me with. So whether that be adapting to their schedules, whether it be being understanding and trying to fulfill their requests, we treat them like family members. Our caregivers are our family. We would not be where we are without our caregivers. I still am in the field one day a week at least on my own time because I can't let go of this, even though I have a career, I have a path going on that is going to pull me more into the administrative side, like
Right.
I'm still leached on to that one client that I can make a difference with, because we've made a lot of progress in 2 years. He had a stroke, and he's swimming in pools and riding bikes. So.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
that's amazing.
Congratulations.
Shouts out to him.
Definitely.
I can only imagine how competitive the healthcare industry is. And for your line of work specifically, what do you feel Comfort Keepers offers that gives you the edge on gaining a new client?
So with our new clients, again, our interactive caregiving, we focus on promoting independence, which means that we believe if you don't use it, you lose it. And so it's important for clients to not just be babysat as they view us as caregivers. They want somebody that's actually going to support them and help their growth or their adaptation to what their life has now become.
See, for me, it runs a little bit deeper in regards to the healthcare industry. My mom passed away in December, so I spent some time, going to the hospital, flying out to Atlanta to visit her. And one of the biggest discretions I had is dealing with some of the staff that worked there. So she was in a hospital for a while, as well as she stayed with my sister, and we had caregivers. Well, my sister had a caregiver for her, and throughout time, you see caregivers, and it be such a high turnover rate. How important is it for you guys to make sure that you check in with your staff and have meetings to find out where they are as a person, because of it being more than just a job? I would think that you guys would want to know what's going on in their life to a certain degree, to make sure you're not sending someone out in the field that may not be there mentally and dealing with someone that needs and really has certain needs.
Right. So we do weekly calls with our caregivers and our clients. We try to do at least one call or have one interaction with them every 2 weeks at the very least.
Right.
So we do supervisory visits where we just pop in and show up. One thing that I have found is that people want to know that they're cared about, especially in this field, because we're giving so much of ourselves. Sometimes we're not getting it back. We're not getting our cup refilled. Mm-hmm. So, I'll reach out and, just see how they're doing by text message or a phone call. They're always welcome to come into the office. We have last week we had cake pops for them. The human resource manager asked for them to stop in if they were available, and she just had a sweet surprise for them. It's just those little tokens of appreciation.
Right.
When we have client compliments, we always go and try to shout them out and let everybody know, like, hey, like, we're making a difference in somebody's life.
Dope. Now, what are some behavioral issues that would force you to release a client?
So I just got back from our conference last week, and federal law actually prohibits discrimination. And so as far as gender preference, race, origin of birth, many different types of things. So if a client is requesting a personal request like that violates a person's rights, then we are mandated to go ahead and terminate the relationship with them. Also, if a client is abusive or whether that be verbally or physically, we'll immediately remove that caregiver so that they're in a safe position. We really support our caregivers' comfort being in somebody else's home. It's hard to go into somebody's home that most of the time doesn't even want you there. Right. It's because the family has decided that they want you there, or it's not everybody, but anybody that you invite into your home, it's going to be a learning curve. And so if they're not comfortable, if the client's not comfortable, the caregiver's not comfortable, then nobody's going to be happy. We focus on client satisfaction and caregiver satisfaction.
That kind of touches on where I was going to go next, because so do you guys assign like clients based off of experience, so that they're dealing with someone that they're more privy to dealing with, so they're not in an environment that they may not be up to par, like maybe someone's newer and they're not used to dealing with someone that's aggressive? Or is it just based off of scheduling, where this person works Monday through Friday and they just have to go out to this guy's house that they may not be able to handle? Like, how do you guys address those type of situations?
So that's also what's unique to us, is we do personality matching. So we go through a huge intake process. It takes about 2 hours. We're asking a whole bunch of questions, putting the information in, transferring it over, seeing what their needs are, what their medical history is, what their behavior history is, what their their life experiences are. And, you know, we try to personality match and get it right the first time. And I've gotten pretty good at it, that I'm about 95% accuracy rate, but there's some that, you know, you put in there and it's just not a good match, whether personalities, vibes don't match, or they're just not comfortable. And at that point, you know, you just gotta keep trying until you get the right one. But, you know, we do.
Is that common for you guys or companies just in general in healthcare to do personality matching, or is it so it's not?
That's something that you guys specialize in. Oh, wow.
That's something you speak on when you're talking to a potential client as well.
Right.
Like, this is something that differentiates us from other companies out there, instead of just, you know, insert client and here goes caregiver.
So we don't market to the clients typically. I mean, when we get in the home and we get an intake, it's because they need the services and they know what they need, or they don't know what they need. They just know that they need somebody to come in and help, you know, reestablish that client caregiver relationship, instead of so that the clients can and their families can focus on the family member and you know, grandpa relationship. So we don't necessarily market that we do personality matching and it's set apart from other agencies, but we definitely do, you know, we want to know this, and this. If you're funny and serious, if you're homespun or, you know, refined, if you like the outdoors, because we want to put somebody with you that you guys are going to share general interests, so you guys can create a bond, so you guys can be comfortable. So when it comes to end of life, you already know that person's got your back.
Yes, you guys just put a different spin on it in regards to how you go about presenting it. Okay.
So what I'm taking from all this is that you guys really like focus on making sure that the client as well as your staff are all like very comfortable within the situation. But what do you do in that situation when the client just does not want, like it's like we touched on, you have certain clients that just don't want the person there.
Right.
What do you do in that situation when the client's just like not having it? Like, and you can have the nicest person going to this person's home, but this guy, like, say he's at like a stage 4, like he's bad, you know what I mean? But he just doesn't want that help. He's like, but even though his family feels, and then even you as the general manager, you look at it and be like, all right, this is what this person needs. This is what you need. He's content with his life. He's like, I'm good. Like, I don't want this. I don't want you here. What do you do when they just don't want, like, they just don't want you there?
It's a transition process. Usually we have the family member that they're most comfortable with being with our caregivers for a couple days or a week until the client's comfortable. And typically once they've been abrasive and then they've been transitioned into it, it's cake from they've already created a bond because they've had to go through a hardship. And so now that person stuck it out, that person's still there. That's what I want.
So it's up to the staff member to be able to be, like you said, be patient, be able to withstand this guy's like aggressiveness, because at the end of the day, it's not, at this point, it's not for the check, it's for a person's life, because at the end of the day, you guys hold people's lives in your hand.
Definitely.
And that's a big deal. That's not something that you just play with. So you definitely have to have that compassion to be able to help with this person who's in need. He just doesn't realize it.
Right. And so, I mean, for us, you know, that's what I try to stress to any kind of caregiver. You have somebody's life in your hand. So if you're supposed to show to a shift, you better show to a shift because they're depending on you. If you're supposed to do these tasks, you need to do these tasks. And if the family is so involved that they're watching what's going on with their family member, you need to be documenting those tasks as they're being done, and you need to be detailed. And even if the family members aren't watching, you still need to be doing that because that's your job, is to document what's going on so that you're taking care of the client's life. You know, if something happens and we have to pull those reports and take it to the hospital, and the doctor could say, oh, you know what, you did this and this, maybe you should adjust it, then we can maybe prolong somebody's life and their quality of life. So a lot of times too, we have family members that the family doesn't want us in, but the client needs us in. And so that's also creates a whole new issue where we have to prove ourselves to the family before they kind of just trust us.
Yeah, because it's just like they're handing you over a loved one,
Right.
and you're responsible for that person at that point. So, yeah, I definitely understand that part. You've been in this industry for 16 years. You're a general manager now. What's next for you in regards to career-wise?
My career is growing every day. Every day I'm learning more about myself and to be a manager, be a professional. It was a hard transition for me to go to caregiver to the administration side. I had to change hats, and I'm usually good at changing hats, but that was kind of a struggle. I'm kind of the advocate. I'm the go-between between the business side and the caregivers, because my heart is still with caregivers. It's 15, 16 years that I've been solely in the caregiver side.
But
And
that
so-
also helps you with being able to train people and get them up to par, because you're speaking from experience instead of someone that's being positioned into being a general manager. They can't speak with more conviction, like, hey, I was in the field, I was just like you, and these are the things that are going to help set you apart as well as this business apart, moving forward.
Right.
So my last question that I have for you, so since you're a general manager, if somebody's besides the compassion and the patience, if somebody really wanted to get in this field, what steps would they have to take? Speaking on comfort keepers.
Well, I mean, you really want to start by volunteering, because that's where you're going to know if your heart is in this or not. If you're not doing it for a paycheck, you're just doing it because you want to make a difference. That is where somebody would want to start. We have a very wide variety of experience and everything, but
It takes more than just like being able to just jump in. Hey, here's my resume. I want to do this. It doesn't work like that, or it does.
No, so it doesn't. I mean, we need to know that why do you want to come into somebody's house?
Right.
What is the reason? Okay, you have a clean background. Okay, your references check out, but why do you want to provide personal care? What kind of difference do you want to make in the world? As far as the office side, I actually just had this conversation yesterday. When I came into the office, I went in and took off. Nobody told me any direction. I just said, okay, this, and this needs to be managed better. It needs to flow better. It needs to have structure. And I'm not gonna have anybody in the office that doesn't have their heart in the field and with the better mindset for the business and what our mission is. We want clients to be treated as if they're a family member. Everybody deserves dignity and respect, and that's why I kind of steer away from facilities, because one person cannot provide 12 people dignity and respect
At all.
And
You become a number through that process,
Yeah.
and that's where the biggest issue comes into play. Well, we've hit you with as many questions as we can. We're about to roll into that talk segment, so we're gonna take a brief little intermission.
Talk That Talk,
with Marcus McLeod.
aka Legacy Jones.
What's going on, y'all? This is Marcus McLeod, aka Legacy Jones, and guess what time it is? It's time for that talk, where we ask any question and everything. Nothing goes unanswered. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, we gonna see. All right, well, boom. First off, what do you do if your client didn't want to take his or her medication?
That's their right. I mean, we can try different ways, but if they don't want it, that's their right. They don't have to take their medication if it's not causing harm to them. Now, if they go like 3 days, 4 days without it, yeah, we're calling the doctor and letting them know, or the family member, that something's going on. He's refusing the medication. What do we do?
Okay. Cool.
That's different. Whew. So for me, the way I look at it is, you've been in the industry, like I said before, 16 years, and with that being said, I'm sure you've seen a lot of deaths throughout the process. Do you attend funerals of deceased clients?
I do. I had a client that when I worked at the adult family home, they requested that I show up there, and so I did, and it was a beautiful ceremony. It just kind of depends if you feel obligated to, or you want to, and the family wants you there, then by all means. I mean, you are a part of that person's life.
Yeah,
so,
your extended family.
yeah.
How do you separate the two, though? Like, when it comes to life, though, like, obviously this is a job, and you still got to be compassionate because of the people that you deal with. You think, obviously, feelings, because you're only human. In the same breath, it's work. So, like, is there an on-off switch for you when you're dealing with someone that was, that died, that you worked with, in comparison to, like, do you become numb through the process because it's not family, or overall, like, how do you look at death?
I don't think that you ever become numb. I mean, it affects you no matter what. But what I have found to help me get through these things and have my closure is preemptively loving people as much as I can, showing them that extra attention at the end of their life, so that you know that you gave somebody a little bit more love before they passed on, and that was your gift of sending them off, was showing them that love.
All right, now another question. Have you ever had a situation with a client that made you want to say, screw this job? You just wanted to be like, you know what? This is too much. I can't deal with it.
Yep.
Care to expound? Or can you?
I mean, you just kind of have to take a breather and do what you can do, whether that be, okay, you're safe, you're comfortable, you don't need anything, I'm going to go clean this side of the house. Or I'm going to go take a break, a little 10-minute break, get some air. We'll come back, we'll try it again. A lot of the times, like, they're not acting out at you. They're acting out of their situation. They haven't been able to accept their reality yet. And so you're there to help guide them into what their new reality is.
Okay.
At what point are you able to, when dealing with a client, to defend yourself when you're dealing with someone that's aggressive? Like, what's the too much point? Like, he grabbed you, or she grabbed you, or she slapped you. Like, what's protocol in one of those scenarios?
Well, protocol and, actually in the moment can sometimes be different. So, I mean, I've been bruised from my arm all the way up down, bruised from an autistic client pinching me. And
We're not talking about baby slaps. I'm talking about she just,
my arm was black and blue all the way up and down. I have pictures.
Good gracious.
But, that was just, he wasn't acting out at me. It was just, I was the closest thing, and he didn't know how to process that. But protocol, is you remove yourself from the situation. As long as that client is safe and comfortable, or is not going to harm himself or others, you can take away from the situation, because most of the time that will help, because you have given that time to kind of simmer down. Then you can reapproach the situation. Obviously, if a client just outright went and punched you and assaulted you, then yeah, you have to still call the police. I mean, they're still,
a human.
A human. I mean,
still a
they're a
person.
citizen, and they have to be law abiding as we do. So.
I definitely get that.
All right, final one for you. Given the premise on how much the families are paying for these clients, the family of the clients are paying for them to be in your care, have you ever gotten a family member that felt felt that person was being mistreated at your establishment?
I haven't had any complaints about them being mistreated. We have had clients that have complained that maybe the caregiver wasn't as comfortable or trained as well, and so we go in and we do some additional training. And if they need training, I know just about everything. I mean, I've been doing it forever. If I don't know, then we'll find somebody that can train you. We have a nurse on board that can come out and do a delegation or a training. But we handle all complaints seriously, and we handle all job performance seriously too. I mean, like you said, we have people's hands in our lives, and
Right.
and that's the approach that we always have to take.
Now, off topic, are those positions like on call? So if it's like 3-4 in the morning and Johnny is just going nuts, like you have to have somebody come out, is that on call?
You're looking at me.
Oh wow.
I'm on call. I've been on call for about 9 months now. I mean, I'm 24 hours a day I work, and I woke up at 7 o'clock this morning taking calls from caregivers. I was up yesterday morning at midnight taking calls from caregivers. I don't know that everybody realizes that it's somebody's life, that you're taking somebody's time away, but that's what it is. Before I actually came here today, I had to drop a caregiver off because things happen. So
Wow. Well, we definitely want to give a big shout out to Teresa for coming through today. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Happy Mother's Day.
thank you.
And let the people know where they can find you, more about you, as well as the company you work for.
You guys can always come by the office. We are on the west side, 2958 Limited Lane, Northwest, Suite B. We're straight in the back. We do everything online as far as applications, and then we do a telephone interview as far as if you're looking for employment. We're always hiring. However, like I've said, we do thoroughly vet our caregivers, so be prepared to have some high standards thrown at you.
Marcus McLeod, aka Legacy Jones,
Rob Sproul, aka SP.
and
Teresa Legrand with Comfort Keepers.
This is the Daily Grind, episode 5. Shout out to all the moms again.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Have you heard?
Have you heard?
Have you heard?
That's right. What would a show be without entertainment talk? Keeping you updated with all the latest news and gossip happening with some of your favorite celebrities.
This week in the world of entertainment
And music.
Donald Glover just released a very eye-opening song and video entitled This Is America. The video gives you an in-depth look from this... I was close. I was there. Donald Glover, a.k.a. Childish Gambino.
We got Have You Heard? Take 3 and 5, 4, 3, 2.
Go ahead.
I used little words this time, right?
Have You Heard? Take 4.
Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, just released a very eye-opening video and song entitled This Is America. The video gives you an in-depth look from his perspective on what African Americans have been through and still going through here in the United States. As for the flack he's receiving, some people in the black community are questioning his stance on racial injustices because his longtime girlfriend and mother of his 2 kids is a white woman. What are your thoughts on that?
I feel date who you want to date.
That's what I feel.
People try to box you in. That's one of the reasons that we're still dealing with a lot of the injustices that we're dealing with throughout the world and in the communities. It's okay to speak on things that you go through as a person, right, and what your background is ties into who you are as a person. As far as love goes, love is love.
Love doesn't have a color, in my opinion, like, for real. Because let's look at it like this. If one of our black revolutionary leaders, well, back then it was a little different, but if they would have been dealing with somebody outside of their race, would their message have still been would it be less impactful? You know what I mean?
That's the same thing they're trying to snatch away from him when he makes these great pieces of work, such as the new video that he released,
which is amazing, by the way. It has, and what I was watching something, and then what I took from it is you got to look at that video without looking at him. It's hard, but it's definitely doable because I did it twice, and every time you watch that movie, you're finding something new. You're finding something different about it, like, you know what I mean? And that's one of the big parts of it, is being able to look past the main person who's in it to be able to see.
That's the key point. It's
the layers behind
he's showing you behind the scenes is the distractions.
Yeah.
It's the same smoke and mirrors that we deal with in society.
Definitely.
So
and I feel like for the flack that he's getting, I feel isn't justified, isn't warranted. It's just a bunch of bitter people that are like, granted, some people feel like they have valid points, but still, it has nothing to do with this amazing song and amazing video that he just put out.
Accept the message for what he's saying.
And if you feel uncomfortable 9 times out of 10, it wasn't meant to make you feel comfortable.
And you are part of the problem.
Thank you. But with that being said, let us know how you feel on the topic. Like and subscribe. Share a comment at the bottom, and make sure you hit a bell so you definitely can get notified the next time we post a video.
Do that. R. Kelly's back in the news again. This time with Spotify. As of March 10th, Spotify users will no longer be able to find R. Kelly's music on any of the streaming services' editorial algorithmic playlists. Bring that back.
I knew you were gonna mess that word up because I'm looking at it. I'm like, algorithmic tick.
You got one.
Talking about the Pied Piper. 5, 4, 3, 2.
I want to pee on you.
We don't know if they're gonna censor all artists or creators because of the behavior, but we want our edit. Ain't that something? R. Kelly's back in the news again.
It's just the face that he made when he's like,
R. Kelly's back in the news again. This time, R. Kelly versus Spotify.
she can't win for losing
At all. As of March 10th, Spotify users will no longer be able to find R. Kelly's music on any of the streaming services' editorial or algorithmic playlists. Under the terms of the new public hate content and hateful content policies, Spotify is putting in effect. The company will no longer promote the R&B singer's music in any way, removing his music from flagship playlists like Rap Caviar, Discover Weekly, or New Music Friday. What are your thoughts?
I feel like is this all based off of his last little situations with the 19-year-old?
I'm not sure if it's based off of just that, but my issue with it is they targeted him as just the artist to attack during this process, as well as another artist by the name of XXXTentacion. Both of those guys are their music has been removed from those playlists.
That's why I listen to Apple Music, man. Because they don't, like, I feel like this is a stupid discrimination. Now, granted, obviously it has to be for some reason. The reason I'm not sure about, but I still look at it as like, let this man live. Like, at the end, not necessarily saying it like that, but he's a legend. Like, you know what I mean? His music is timeless. Like, I don't see nothing wrong. It's still a banger. Like, you know what I mean? Bump and Grind. All those records that he's put out are still timeless songs. Like, you know what I mean? Especially when you have playlists with slow jams on it, how are you not going to have any R.
Some of the other things that they were speaking on was they said that they want our editorial decisions to be made based on how their views are and what their values are as a company.
Nobody cares. I'm the one paying for it. I'm the one listening to it. Why should I care about that?
It's their brand is what they're focused on.
Oh.
Like, this is our brand. We don't represent this type of person per se. And personally for me, I look at it like you got to dig deeper and target everybody. It can't just be one person through the process.
Then you need to definitely if that's the case, if you're looking at it like that, take off every felon, take off every person that has ever done something wrong, and then
Right.
what are you gonna have?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? You can't just single one person out and then automatically just put this person like, hey, we'll single two people out when you have numerous people in the industry who have done wrong, but their music is still in rotation.
It goes deeper than that, though. Why just target just hip hop genre when you have all these other genres of music?
Country, rock, everybody has their vices, everybody has their problems, everybody's had their own situations. You can't just sit here and solely attack, not necessarily attack, because I feel like that's a strong word. I don't want you to solely target this one person for whatever the discrepancy is. Somebody's gonna have to definitely expound that on me. If possibly leave that in the comment section, because I would like to know.
Well, 50 Cent had tweeted out Spotify's wrong, noting that R. Kelly and XXXTentacion weren't even convicted of the crimes.
Point exactly. Like there's no need to even argue it even any further, because if you weren't convicted of anything, it's pretty much just he say she say. But you got people that were convicted of things.
I got a question for you. Speaking of convicted,
Oh man,
Chris Brown.
you know they're not gonna take that away. They're not gonna take that away at all. And I feel like, cause it's the newer generation, but cause I want to say I don't want to say the old heads aren't really checking on Spotify, but most of them probably are. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause they probably look at like the Pandoras and something simple that they don't necessarily have to go straight to and scroll and look for a song. But when it comes down to that situation, then you should. I'm trying to tell you, you're definitely gonna have to. If you're really gonna make this a thing, you're gonna have to go down the line and X-nay a lot of people.
Spotify is the biggest streaming service out there, though. 71 million subscribers.
And
Apple Music's right behind, and they're catching up.
They're creeping.
Yeah, they're catching
Tidal
up
is
fast.
just-
Sorry, Jay.
Sorry. But at the end of the day, you're definitely gonna have to, like, because with 71 million subscribers, you're worried about R. Kelly's music. That's what you're so. But like you said, they're not taking it off the service, but they're just not gonna. So if an R. Kelly album comes out next week, it would be horrible timing. But if an R. Kelly album comes out next week, you're not gonna push it. If the label is paying you a certain amount, because I'm pretty sure all these streaming services
what they're saying.
are getting a bag. I guarantee you.
Of course.
But you mean to tell me you're not gonna take the bag because of whatever this situation is? Now, I might be making light of the situation because, like I said, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But I look at it like this. You're dumb. You're playing yourself if you're messing around and not taking the bag because of whatever it is. and I can't get back on that until I know exactly what it is.
Understood. Well, people,
Definitely like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think about the R. Kelly versus Spotify situation. Because I think it's BS. But make sure you subscribe. I'm pretty sure there's like a little bell somewhere down at the bottom so you can get notified the next time we post a video. And with that being said, I'm Legacy Jones.
Rob Sproul, aka SP.
And this is the Daily Grind, number 5.
The Smoker's Corner.
Hey everyone, it's Jennifer with T Brothers 502 in Lacey. Today we have Priscilla with Soulshine Cannabis. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jen. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm really happy we have you here today.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I have a couple of questions about your company. One is, how did you guys get up and going and started?
The owners started the company because they really wanted to have a company that was not only environmentally friendly as far as their grow practices, but also gave back to the community. And that's exactly what we did.
Well, I've heard a lot about your guys' charities. One would be your pet rescue. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Of course. Every time you buy a package of Soulshine, a percentage of it goes to Emerald City Pet Rescue directly to them. They're an amazing no-kill shelter that rescues from other kill shelters and finds forever homes for animals. They're located in Seattle.
That's really nice. I mean, I'm a pet lover myself, and you guys are also kind of eco-friendly with your packaging, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Is everything biodegradable, or is it just a certain part of the package?
Yeah, so I'll show you. We use new cardboard because we wanted to get that nice white background so our bud looked nice and fresh. We get that from a sustainable forest in the Pacific Northwest. So even our new cardboard, we try and be as eco-friendly as possible with it.
Right.
All of the inks are vegetable-based inks. The stickers are made out of a sugarcane and hemp, and even this film on the top is an EnviroSafe acetate. So this entire box, if you stick it in your compost bin, is not going to stick around forever. It will break down.
Okay, well, that's good to know,
Yeah.
especially, for those that were wanting to recycle. Another question I've got is, what's different about your grow than other grows? How do you guys grow your product, actually?
So we are indoors, but we try and be as sustainable as possible while being indoors. Everything in our facility is on timered lights. If you're not using one area of the facility, we're not wasting energy in another.
Okay.
We definitely grow in soil, indoors, and try and put as much love and efficiency into our system as we can.
Well, I love the strains that you guys have to offer.
Thank you.
Narnia is one of my favorite strains, and I'm not a big sativa person, so to be fond of one, how did you guys come up with these, unique strains?
So Narnia was one that was a cross that we did ourselves. So that one is proprietary to us. If you see it from some of our partners like Oleum, it will always be grown from Soulshine. That one is Trainwreck and Jack. They're both great strains. Trainwreck is kind of a small yielder. It's a little temperamental. Once you cross it with that Jack, it just became something pretty magical. Special phenotypes, a lot of hunting, a lot of testing within our own staff, and just giving feedback and love.
Well, how I found out about your company was your pre-rolls. I went all the way up to Tacoma to try one, and I felt they were different. Are they with full flower?
100% full flower that's already been trimmed. I feel like some people say 100% flower, but they put untrimmed nugs and grind it all up. That's all good. We decided we wanted to make sure that if somebody smoked our pre-roll, it tasted as good as a gram of our flower. We also use rice papers. So you're not going to get the flavor of the paper so much. You can't really taste it, so it's just all bud, destemmed.
Literally every product I've tried from you guys, the Romulan, the Klingon, every strain. I know I haven't tried the Lottie Dottie personally, but from those that have, they've told me really good things.
Yeah.
But I know we've had the Himalayan Blackberry as far as pre-rolls, not in flour. So
guys will get some soon.
Yes, so if you want to skip some products up at T Brothers, definitely look for Soulshine. And thank you for watching our vendor spotlight. Thank you, Priscilla, for being here. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Hi, guys.
We'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsor, T Brothers. Go check out their weekly specials.
Always going to be in the building as well. And definitely want to give a big thank you to Teresa coming through and shedding some light with Comfort Keepers and definitely informing us on a lot of things that we did not know.
In the healthcare industry.
Also, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Rest in heaven, Mom.
This is the Daily Grind.
If you gonna get it, then go get it. The daily grind. This is where the hustle never stops. The daily grind. Focus, watch me make it out of nothing. The daily grind. Keep pursuing, rise with me to the top. The daily grind.
Wake up.
It's the Daily Grind
Daily Grind.
with SP and Legacy Jones.